Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Makes Movies. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and to today's video, so let's get into it. And I'm back with my original versus remake series. I know. But for this month's lot, I'm basically focusing it on Disney 90s movies. Now, for me, because the reason why I've done this is, like I said, I want to keep the videos 90s themed this month. But I thought, why not also focus on a bit of Disney, especially since I'll be going away in September to Disney. So, I'm off to Orlando, Florida. So I thought, why not keep the theme going for both? So, yeah, so this week, original versus remake was The Little Mermaid. So this is the one from technically 1989, but it did not come out in the UK until 1990, hence why I put it on this list. And then you got the remake that literally come out this year. So if you are new to the series, basically I talk about the original, give you my thoughts on it, you know, what I enjoyed, what I didn't, and then I do the same with the remake, and then I let you guys know which one I prefer. But before I get into my little detailed reviews, I also put the poll out to you guys. So this is one of my interactive series on this channel because I love to see other people's opinions. And so obviously this week I put the poll out and you guys went for the original. Yes, by a landslide. There was a few people that voted for the remake, but a lot of people went for the original. So now the question is, which one do I prefer? The original or the remake? So let's start by talking about the original. Okay, so the original, I don't know why, but I have this feeling that I saw this in the cinema growing up. Like they were doing like an anniversary thing for it. I don't know why, I just have this memory of it. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But with The Little Mermaid, basically, just to give you a plot summary, because both are the same, there's no really much difference. We're following Princess Ariel, and basically she wants to be part of the human world because she finds all these trinkets, and that's when she ends up seeing Prince Eric, and basically she wants to be part of his world. No intention there to a song. So she goes to Ursula the Sea Witch to be like, hey, I want to go see this guy, blah blah blah, and then she ends up doing this for her. And basically she has 3 days to fall in love with Eric. So I won't say any more than that. I won't say what happens in the end or anything like that, because I do try to stay as spoiler free as possible. Obviously there's no guarantee of that because it depends on what people count as spoilers and what people don't. But I do try and keep it, at least for me, spoiler free as possible. So the original, I will say this, is beautifully animated. I love the colours, the patterns, like everything just looks so beautiful. And this is what I miss about hand-drawn animation, is that it does look so nice. And The Little Mermaid, the under the sea stuff looks amazing. The above ground stuff looks amazing. And it's just beautifully animated. That's all I can really say about the animation. It's beautiful. The characters are fun. I do enjoy them. I like Flounder. He's a fun little friend sidekick. You got Sebastian, King Triton. So there's a lot of fun characters in this. But I think if I had to pick a favourite, it'd have to be Ursula. I just love her as a villain. I think she's a pretty badass villain. But I do like the story between Ariel and Prince Eric. I think the romance side of it is nice as well, because they do something a little bit different, because she has something that stops her a little bit normal than most people would when it comes to trying to have a relationship. So I like the fact it focused more on that than it did sort of like flirtation and things like that. The other thing I'm going to talk about is the songs. The songs are very upbeat. They are very sort of like get stuck in your head. I mean, Part of Your World, sung beautifully by Jodie Benson. She's absolutely amazing as Ariel. Under the Sea, absolute classic of a Disney song. Everyone loves that song. And yet again, with Ursula, who's a pretty badass villain, she gets a pretty badass song. I mean, Poor Unfortunate Souls is one of my favourite Disney villain songs. I tell you, I swear the villains get all the best songs. I'm telling you. And then there's some other songs along the way that are quite nice as well. And I think it's just overall, it's such a beautiful story with beautiful animation and some catchy songs. And that was what Disney was at the time. I feel like the movies we got during the 90s period were really good. Like, they're beautiful and everything. Obviously, for me, my two favourites are Lilo and Stitch and Treasure Planet. But when I think about it and I look back at all of Disney, for me, it's mainly the 90s and a few of the 2000 films that really stick in my mind because of what they were. So when I was looking up the movies for the 90s for Disney, I thought, wow, there's so many good ones that come out. And yeah, so if you haven't watched the original Little Mermaid, I suggest you do, because it is a fun little movie, especially with all the characters and the songs. So seriously, if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend you do, because it is a classic film. And I think it's one everyone needs to watch, especially if you're a Disney fan or if you're just starting out with Disney. Maybe watch The Little Mermaid as before you watch the original stuff. Because I will say, for me, like, anything sort of like maybe before The Little Mermaid, I'm not massive fans of. Like, I do enjoy them. I love the fact that they're classics, hand-drawn animation, things like that. But I think because I grew up with the 90s movies, I think that's where my love for Disney is the 90s onwards. There's a couple of older ones that I do enjoy. But for me, if you're someone that's in this generation now, I would say maybe start with the 90s movies just to get a feel for Disney, you know, the musicals. I mean, you had things like Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, you know, Tarzan, so Hercules. So there's a lot of good ones. So if you're someone that's new starting out with Disney, maybe start with the 90s and then sort of like decide whether from there if you want to watch the classics first or if you want to watch the newer movies first, then the classics. So that's my opinion. So anyway, so the original Little Mermaid, beautifully animated, fun little movie, cute characters, amazing songs, and just overall an amazing film. But the question is, what are my thoughts on the remake? So with the remake, of course, lately we've been getting a lot of Disney live action remakes. Me personally, I think it's because they're running out of ideas in general. They're just going, oh, we'll remake some of the classics everybody loves. And so this was one of them. And because we've had so many now, it can get you to feel like, is this going to be a hit or a miss? For me, this was actually kind of a hit. I actually kind of enjoyed this film more than I thought I was going to. I like the fact that... I'll start with my couple of negatives before I get into my positives, actually. So, a couple of my negatives. Don't get me wrong, I love the fact that they decided to do the live action creatures as live action creatures. So Sebastian is like a proper crab and Flounder is like a proper fish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get that, but at the same time, I think I kind of miss Sebastian as he was and Flounder as he was. They still had the personalities, which I loved, but for me, it just felt a bit odd. Scuttle, I like the voice. Like, she's a very talented actress. I saw her in Shang-Chi. Loved her in Shang-Chi. So I liked her, but I think it's just the character of Scuttle as an actual, like, live-action bird kind of thing. It was just sort of like, eh, you know. And my only other gripe I have with this film is the Scuttlebutt song. So, of course, with the live-action remakes, especially the musicals, they do add a couple of extra songs, which sometimes can work. So, for example, with the Beauty and the Beast, I absolutely love Evermore. That's one of my favourite songs from the live-action remakes that we've gotten out of all of the films. Like, I love that song. But out of the two new songs we got, or at least the two main new songs we got, the Scuttlebutt song was really annoying, actually. I get they're trying to do something for the kids, you know, a little like boppy kind of thing. But for me, it was just annoying. And I don't know why Scuttle got that song. I really don't. For me, I personally think we could have done without that song. But then that is just me. I get with the live action remakes, they do copy and paste the originals. but they do try to do something a little bit different in between. So I get that. But for me, that's one of my big gripes with this film, is the Scuttlebutt song. Oh my god. I mean, rewatching it today with my sister, I said to her, I said, this is annoying, isn't it? And she went, yeah, it is kind of annoying. But they're my only two gripes with the film. The rest of it, I actually really enjoyed. I think the actress that played Ariel, I can't remember her name, Halle Berry, Halle something. I think it's Halle Berry, something like that. I can't remember her name. She has a beautiful voice. Oh my god, I loved it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Jodie Benson and her song version of Part of Your World. But like my sister said, and I totally agree with her on this, this actress, she had more passion for the song, I think. And that's what my sister said as well. She was just like, it's a lot more passion in this. And I could agree more with that. She did such a good job with that song. I think the casting, they actually did a very good job. I liked all the casting that they did, especially Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. Oh my god, I loved her as Ursula. I know some people weren't massive fans, but I absolutely loved her as Ursula. Honestly, such a good actress pick, I think, in my eyes. I loved her in this, and I think she did well with the Poor Unfortunate Souls song. She did banging with that. Like, she did so well with this film, I think, in my eyes. And yeah, I think they did a very good pick with her. Prince Eric, I liked him as well. I liked that he actually got his own song as well. Is it as good as the Beast song Evermore? No, but it is a good song in my eyes. Like, I did enjoy it when I watched it in the cinema, and I did enjoy it again listening to it now. So I like the fact that he got his own song. I like the fact that they tried to do something a little bit different. Like, there's some lines that are copy and pasted from the original, especially if you're someone like me who's recently watched the original in prep for this video. You hear a lot of the lines from the original in this. So I get that it can feel like it is a bit repetitive, but I also like how they added some things to it and they tried to do something a bit different. And I like that. I like how they did that. I like the fact that we got a cameo from Jodie Benson herself. That was adorable. Sorry, my eyes irritated. There we go. Is that better? There we go. But no, the remake, this one, I will admit, is actually one of my favourites. Not like, maybe like bottom 5. Like, if I was to do like a top 5, this would probably be like number 5, potentially. I haven't watched all of the remakes, but I will get there eventually. But this definitely would be near the top, if I was to do like a top 10 maybe. Because it felt like something a little bit different whilst also still sticking with the story. And that was quite nice. Like, I like it when a remake either does something completely different or they follow the pattern, but they do add little things into the story. Like, for example, I like the fact that they added something called a coral moon thing. Like, I thought that was really beautiful. But yeah, overall, the remake, I actually thought was a pretty decent remake. Out of all the remakes we've gotten, this is one of the few that are actually pretty decent in my eyes. And I would happily watch it again and add it to my collection if it ever come out in physical. Which I don't know if it will, because a lot of the stuff like Pinocchio and Peter Pan and Wendy haven't come out in physical yet. But no, I'm glad this got a cinema release, because I think there was another one this year, Peter Pan and Wendy. To be honest, I definitely would have seen The Little Mermaid in the cinema more than Peter Pan and Wendy. So I think they did a very good choice there of not tossing The Little Mermaid onto streaming. I'm glad they put it on the big screen, because I think it's worth it. So the big question is, which one do I prefer, the original or the remake? I'm going to have to go with the original. As much as I enjoyed the remake, they are pretty close, to be honest, in scores. But for me, I have to go with the original just because of how colourful the animation is. And just, for me, I don't really have many gripes. To be honest, I don't even think I have any gripes with the original. So that's something that sort of like favours it a little bit more, is the fact of, you know, when I look back, because of the Scuttlebutt song, it kind of takes you out of the remake a little bit. Whereas I think if they didn't have that, maybe the remake and the original could be tied. But as I say most of the time, in the future, this could potentially change. If I rewatch these films at some point for any reason, it could all change. Like, your feelings change overall. So for right now, the original is my favourite. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And also leave me your comments and thoughts on The Little Mermaid. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Do you prefer the original? Do you prefer the remake? Let me know your reasons in the comments down below. And keep an eye out on my community page for the next one. I'm trying to do it in order, so I think the next one might be Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin. I'm not 100% sure, but just keep an eye out on my community page. It'll come up on there. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!